Welcome to what I believe is one of the most interesting courses that we offer as part of this program, Introduction to Social Media. As you think about social media, I encourage you to ask yourself some questions such as, how comfortable are you using social media? How comfortable is your organization using social media? What value or return on investment is there in the use of social media? How does communicating through social media compare or contrast with other forms of communication? And what communication theory can we apply to the use of social media? These are just some of the questions that I think will help stimulate thought as we travel along this journey of social media as part of our studies of strategic communication. We'll look at many examples, specific examples, such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc. But remember, regardless of what platform or what medium we choose for communication, the basic principles of effective communication haven't really changed. For example, our author talks about that trust and influence are key for any effective communication. That's true regardless of what kind of communication. Whether you're posting something to Facebook, tweeting on Twitter, posting a profile on LinkedIn, this video that I'm sharing with you, face-to-face communication you may have in your office, an email that you sent earlier today, all of those require trust and influence if they're going to be effective. Now, in terms of communication theory, I like what our author says, that applying communication theory, research, and understanding, by doing this, we'll be able to assess each new tool that enters the social media marketplace. In other words, we're not learning theory just so we can sound smart or pass a class. We're learning theory because it gives us a lens by which we can view options for communication. And some of those options include social media. We'll also explore this notion a little deeper of return on investment. According to McLean 2013, some believe that measuring ROI for social media is analogous to measuring ROI for a receptionist. In other words, you have to do it. It's just the cost of doing business. Others have said that you shouldn't measure the ROI of social media. Instead, you should measure the COI of social media. COI is cost of ignoring social media. So it's another way to look at that value proposition in terms of social media. Now, I served in the Navy for a little over 2 decades, and when social media first came around, I think around 2007, 2008, I would often get the question, what is the return on investment for posting to Facebook or using this new, at the time it was new, medium? And I would often answer, I tell you what, I'll provide you the ROI for using social media as soon as you can provide me the ROI for the emails you sent today, the telephone that sits on your desk, the meetings that you have probably once a week or more. Because when you get right down to it, social media is communication. It's very similar to other forms of communication. It offers a lot of tangible benefits that we can measure and should, but it shouldn't be a reason to hinder us from using social media. So think about that. I'm sure you have similar stories from when you and your organization first began using social media. In one of our readings, Kaplan and Heinlein talk about this notion that if you want your content to do well on social media, you've got to be strategic about what you publish and when you publish it. Again, that's true for any type of communication, especially since we're focusing on strategic communication. I currently work for an advertising agency, and every month we get together and produce a content or cadence calendar. We look 2 months hence, so if we were meeting in May, we would be looking at July, and we would note what we're posting and when we're posting it, tied to the organization or client objectives for that specific month. Again, it's just a very methodic and strategic way to look at communication. We do the same thing for other communication, social media included. If you're not already doing that, I encourage you to do so. Just a very simple tip. I suspect that you'll be picking up a lot more tips as we move through this, again, what I think is one of the most interesting and exciting courses that we offer. Well, that's it for now. I will end this video the same way I end every video, with some words of advice. Stay ahead with all assignments. Stay engaged in the discussion board. And most of all, enjoy this time of learning.